Hey guys, I'm starting a new series on my channel today called Five Lessons, where I summarize books that I find interesting, that I read, that I want to share with you guys um, in five core lessons. And so the first book that I'm going to be going over is called Habitudes, Images That Form Leadership Habits and Attitudes by Dr. Tim Elmore. It's a really quick read and it provides, 13 governing principles about how to be an effective leader. And I'm going to summarize the top five with you guys today that I found to be the most profound and relevant. So, the first one I'm going to talk about today is called the Calcutta Paradox. And at the center of this paradox is the core idea that being humble as a leader will attract people towards you. And the example he gives is Mother Teresa in Calcutta, who left her life as a privileged teacher in a wealthy community to serve poor people in Calcutta. And the reason Dr. Tim Elmore explains and why she was so popular is because she was humble. And this whole paradox where if you stay humble, do not flex your winnings, do not be arrogant, then people will naturally be attracted towards you. And it's a paradox because it's the exact opposite of what you expect to happen. And the second principle Dr. Tim Elmore talks about is called Appyric Victory. And at the center of this concept is the idea of picking your battles. Sometimes as a leader, the best way to deal with a situation is to stay away from a fight, to back away, to not engage in someone. And as a leader, this principle is essential because you're always going to be dealing with situations that are out of your control, and that the only way you can deal with it is just not interacting with it, not bringing that negative energy into your life, and you know, choosing your fights. Sometimes it's the best thing to do is just not fighting. Okay. And the third principle I want to talk about is called the velvet colored brick. And so at the core of this principle is just to imagine a brick that is covered in red velvet. So a velvet covered brick, right? And you might be saying to yourself, what does this mean? This makes no sense to me. So the core idea of this principle is to be a hard leader, sometimes on the inside. A hard leader when you're focusing on the task at hand and being soft with your people. So this principle summarized in one sentence is basically be hard with your work and the projects that you're working on and be soft with your people. And essentially, being an aggressive leader, being overly aggressive, pushing people too hard is going to lead people naturally away from you. And the best way to deal with this is to constantly balance being a velvet colored brick, being hard on the work, being punctual and organized and efficient, but also be willing to listen to the people in your group as a leader, be willing to express empathy for what they're going through and kind of understand them. Don't push them too hard is at the core of that principle. And another thing I like about the book, just quickly before I get into the fourth principle, is that Dr. Elmore gives these clear visuals of exactly what you want for each principle. So, for example, the image of the velvet colored brick, he'll give you that image. For Appyric Victory, he'll give you an image of a knight. For Calcutta Paradox, he'll give you an image of Mother Teresa, so that subconsciously you remember these principles just when the image comes up in your head, so that's subconsciously reinforced, which I really like. And another example of that is principle number 4, which is growing your team members like a gardener. So be a gardener. Constantly, you know, treat the people in your team like a flower that you're trying to grow, and you're just going to constantly water it. You want to constantly and continuously encourage people and encourage yourself, because at the end of the day, you never know what the other people on your team are going through, and you really just want to be a source of positivity as a leader, a source of inspiration, and someone that they feel comfortable around, and someone who's constantly encouraging and lifting people up. And that's the core of the 4th principle. And another image for the 5th principle is to act like a lightning rod. So imagine the idea of a lightning rod, if you don't know, is to absorb the lightning when it comes in and to take that lightning into the earth so that the building doesn't get damaged. And the whole point of acting like a lightning rod as a leader is when you receive criticism, you absorb that. You don't get rattled by the criticism. You don't get flustered and respond angrily. You absorb that criticism and bring out positivity into the world. And one of the examples he gave was a member of the Ku Klux Klan in South Carolina who sent death threats to this one black man. And this one black man responded not by responding aggressively, but by doing some research on the leader of the chapter and noticing that he was disabled and saying, hey man, if you ever need any help, I'm here for you. I'd love to help out. And this completely shocked the man from the Ku Klux Klan who had delivered these racist slurs to the black man. And the black man, instead of, getting angry and responding and letting that lightning destroy the building, he absorbed it into the ground and turned it into positive energy. And so I would highly recommend reading this book, Habitudes, Images That Form Leadership Habits and Attitudes. It's a great read, it's quick, and it provides you with essential visuals for being a leader. So I hope you enjoyed and have a good day. Bye.